The computer hates us right now. Oh, Jesus.
Drinking with Authors may contain adult content. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Drinking with Authors. I am your host, the author, Nick Savage. That's right, I write books. He writes books. We're authors. It's why we do a show called Drinking with Authors. It's a pretty self-explanatory title. This show, as every episode, is brought to you by Four Horsemen Publications. So check them out at fourhorsemenpublications.com. Find yourself some new reads. If none of those authors look good to you, or you just want to add to your to-be read pile, we have with us tonight Shane Nikolai. If I am pronouncing the last name properly, I try, I fail often. Author of Life Undecided. I looked down at my little notes because I just watched Girl Interrupted the other day, and my mind is just fucking with me like you wouldn't believe. Don't do drugs, kids. Just kidding. I don't do them. But Shane, welcome to the show. I talk fast. Don't mind me. It's just caffeine. But I know you're drinking caffeine too. So what are you drinking?
I am drinking coffee and
cream sugar.
Yes, extra sugar, regular cream.
Extra sugar, regular cream. All right. I'm assuming regular amount of cream as in like regular amounts, not regular cream as in irregular cream.
Oh yeah, no, regular amounts of cream.
Just making sure it's not like caramel flavored cream or some weird flavor, like, which is actually really good. Some of the creamers that they have in the store, especially around Christmas time, if you like yeah, those are pretty good. And I know you're also drinking some other stuff. Sorry to interrupt.
Just some Dr. Pepper and Cherry Coke.
Dr. Pepper Cherry Coke is delish. I actually had a talk with someone who worked for Coke. Works for Coke. And little known fact, I asked her what insanity they were thinking with the Oreo flavored Coke. Because it reminded me of a drink a toddler would say, Daddy, try this. And you drink it and you're like, wow. And the person who came up with that idea no longer works for Coke. Thank God for that. That's all I know. That's all I know. She would not divulge any further information.
Sometimes you hit, sometimes it's a solid swing and a miss.
That was many solid swings and misses with that one. And I feel bad because I know, like, I think Post Malone was like, this was his big like endorsement, and it was just so tragically bad. I could be wrong on who endorsed it though. But that being said, we're not here to talk about Coke, Oreos, or drinks in general like that. We're here to talk about you and your collection of short stories and poems in the book called Life Undecided. Tell us about that. Tell us about yourself. Talk.
So, I'm queer trans person. I grew up not knowing that whole community existed until like my senior year of high school. So lots of big feels, lots of emo times. I never outgrew the emo, but that's okay. And so everything in my book is a collection of all like the poems and songs that I wrote as I was trying to process all the feelings that I was trying to navigate going through wonderful high school, because everyone is
high school can be a very hard time for a lot of people, and if that's when you're kind of experiencing this, that is doubly, you know what I'm saying, hard. So I'm glad you're here on this side of life with us still.
Same.
It
seems a little boring on the other side.
Yeah, no, not much to do at all. Beliefs aside, not much to do, at least on this side of life if you're on the other side. So thank you for staying here. On a side note, I hear a dog in the background. What kind of dog you got?
We have a pity mix. She has pretty bad separation anxiety. We rescued her about 2.5 years ago. She's improved greatly from where she was. We did have to invest in an unbreakable kennel because she could tear apart the metal wire ones. Like, just dismantle them.
What is an unbreakable? I mean, I know what unbreakable means. I know what kennel means. What is it made of?
It is made of like this really solid, just hard plastic, about yay thick, kind of 1/4 inch thick to 1/2 inch thick. And they just design it as all one mold. So there's no seams that she can get at and break through. There's holes for like airflow, but it's done in a way that she can't get a nail in, she can't get a tooth in to start chewing at.
No. I have an idea of what that looks like, and well, it's a little less than ugly looking in my mind. I am sure that it is a very comfy kennel inside of it. If she happens to make it into the room, you have to show her, because we love visuals for the one channel. Anyone listening, watching, go to YouTube in case the dog comes on the air. We can see, the dog, because everyone loves dogs. And if you don't love dogs, you need to love animals. So you have this, and I'm sorry, I had to ask because I love animals, and I was like, oh, what kind of dog you got?
Yeah, I put her away before this because the room I'm in kind of echoes a lot. So if she starts barking, it's a little loud.
Oh, no, I understand. I do have a pause function, though. If you decide you need to get her, I can pause, come on back in. Yeah. But that is okay. This is not doggy show and tell, but it could be, and I'm okay with that. But you have your book, and it's kind of a collection of your deepest, darkest moments, and your happiest as well. It's not just a Trent Reznor album of tragedy after tragedy. Don't get me wrong, I love Nine Inch Nails, and if you went through an emo phase, I'm sure you have at some point, and I'm not saying he's emo, he's industrial, but anyone who's gone through depression knows who Nine Inch Nails is, and at least familiar with some of their songs. Probably one of my all-time favorite artists. With his stuff, but my wife got me into a band, and I'm not saying into a band, into one song of them, a band called Bullet for My Valentine.
Yes,
who I had known about, but never really got into that scene. And I think it's Bullet for My Valentine, a song where tears don't fall, they crash around me.
Mm-hmm.
Most emo damn song I've ever heard in my life. And if it wasn't so fucking catchy,
I know.
Like, it's one of those songs we'll be driving down the road and it'll come on our Spotify playlist or whatever we're listening to. No endorsement by Spotify unless we are here and you guys want to sponsor us. Right? Like, I'm looking in the camera at you, Spotify. But it comes on and I'm like, oh my God, I know the song and now I have to do it. Now I have to sing it. And you just have to sing along with it. But that's the thing about emo, is it's catchy as all hell.
Yeah.
So no, never outgrow it. Never be ashamed of who you are. Like, never be ashamed of the things you like, and let your freak flag fly, as they say. Another phrase I can't say too fast. But so this, why a short story collection in poetry? What opted for that route versus like putting it in novel form?
Well, like 90% of it is poems, and so it was a little easier to just be like, here's a poetry collection than a novel. And I only had so many so far. I'm still writing, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was the route I chose. I was honestly, up until when I published, I had actually told myself I was never going to publish, because I don't have a lot of confidence in my work, despite like people reading it and telling me that I should publish. So I had just gone through a 3-month intensive outpatient program online, and had swapped from having a bipolar depressive episode to a bipolar mania episode, and was writing on the whole. They liked my writing, and went on Draft to Digital and threw it all into one file and published it.
That makes sense. But I know, and it makes sense, and it's kind of one of those things where if someone's listening and they've never experienced what it's like to have a manic episode, to those people, they're going to be like, well, why not just calm down and like do X, Y, and Z with it? But when you're in that kind of mindset, you don't have the wherewithal. If I'm sure there's a better word I could have used there, but you don't have the wherewithal to be like, all right, step back and plan this out. You're like, no, go. And it's a very hard. People are, and correct me if I'm wrong, people look at bipolar and the manic mania and depression as if you're not depressed and you're mania, that's when you're normal and that's when you can function fine. And it's so far from that.
Yeah.
It's so far from
So
that. It's I don't when were you, and I know I'm hoping you don't mind talking about this.
Oh no, not at all.
Okay. Because your books are about this, so I'm like, let's talk about this, and then that way people can come and go, this person knows what they're talking about, let's go buy his books, like type stuff. It's a sales pitch, folks.
Yeah.
When were you diagnosed with it?
I was not diagnosed bipolar until about 4 years ago.
Okay.
I spent a very long time with just an anxiety and depression diagnosis before they even figured out that, some of this is I'm actually on the spectrum and have OCD, and I'm just like, my brain is fully freaking out.
Yeah.
I'm contradicting myself.
No, the OCD is what puts you on the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? And it's autism has become such a thing where it's anything abnormal, like OCD or that's the one I'm thinking of right now because I'm trying to make an example. Of course, I can think of it. ADD. You're like, you have these. Now you're on spectrum, which if everyone who had something like that back when I was in high school, half my high school would have had some autistic, you know what I'm saying, thing.
Yeah.
So it's a very diluted, and I don't know, at least my personal feeling, I don't know if it's doing anyone any good to just be like, here's a label, have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's helpful. Like the label of having bipolar or the label of having like severe anxiety or OCD, it's helpful in that then they know how to treat it.
Yes.
But some of it definitely is an over-diagnosis, so to speak, of making it a little bit too broad.
That's what I'm talking about right there. And thank you for making that more well said than I am. Words, they're hard for writers sometimes when we're talking. I know you speak about this stuff too. It's not just in your writing. You actually go places and do presentations.
Yeah. So I've had one speaking gig so far. I hope that I do get more. I spoke to a high school, their Gay Straight Alliance and their Writers Club all came together, and I gave a talk about mental health, creativity, and utilizing writing to kind of help process the feelings and navigating the whole maze of having mental health issues and being a member of the queer community, because having mental health issues is its own struggle. And then being in the queer community where you're already like kind of shoved to the side and judged.
No, that is wonderful. You had actually said something earlier in the show about how you didn't even realize the trans community existed until you were like 18 and realized this stuff about yourself. And we're at a point in society where people who know that trans people have been around for as long as humanity's been around, because it's not a defect, it's not a something unusual or new. It's just part of human nature, part of how we evolve. It's part of genetics, which has always been around. We just don't know these things. But there's a part, I think, of society, and correct me if I'm wrong or let me know your thoughts, there's a part of society that's just learning these things. So to them, because it's new to them, it must be new to the world.
Yeah.
And how are you finding that reaction being something that affects?
So no, you're good. Well, for one thing, in high school, I didn't find out about trans people existing. I found about gay people existing. I had no idea that like being gay was a thing. I didn't figure out being trans until I was 25.
Okay. Where did you grow up that you didn't even know gay was a thing?
I grew up in a kind of religious household. I grew up in the church. It wasn't that it wasn't an accepting church. It was more that it just was never talked about. And everything, like the music that I was given was the first non-Christian like album or cassette tape that I got given was Hanson. Like that is how I grew up.
Nothing wrong with Hanson. If you like Hanson, Hanson's a thing. It's just
that was my first.
If that's your segue into mainstream music, oh my God, it's kind of a segue right there.
Yeah, and then I ended up like punk emo.
Yeah, no, it's a much Like to me, if you're growing up watching only like Christian television, and then like Hanson is your like musical foray into mainstream, that'd be like Nickelodeon, the little kids stuff, being like, this is real TV, not knowing that there's everything else out there. Yeah,
right.
Which is that's just so interesting to talk with you about. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in such a sheltered, if you don't mind me saying, that kind of environment. I don't mean to be touchy on the subject. Were your parents supportive?
At first, when I like to say I went through the whole BLT sandwich, so to speak. I came out as bi, and then a lesbian, and then trans, and then gay.
I've never heard BLT sandwich before, and that is the funniest. I can't say that, but I can't be like, hey, she went through a BLT sandwich, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's just funny. It's just funny to me, you know. But like, that's something that I will let you say after I just said it now. But so you went through that, and I'm so sorry to interrupt, but that was a genius kind of thing.
Yeah, they weren't overly excited at first. A good chunk of my senior year of high school was my mom and I were fighting almost every day, like multiple times a day, screaming matches. And for anyone that knows my mom, she don't scream. She is the kindest, sweetest, like most genuinely nice person in the world. So that was just kind of not a thing that we did usually. I ended up moving out out of state to New Hampshire because I grew up in Maryland. And that, like, between the distance and my aunt and uncle, my uncle was actually the one who started the church I grew up with. And him and my aunt would actually go to lunch with my mom and sit down, and my mom would be like, I want to love my kid, but the Bible says this, what do I do? And they helped my parents kind of.
Yes, the old trap of I can't think for myself because I don't want to piss off the invisible man in the sky. Yes, but she has since come around.
Oh, my mom is like the biggest mama bear.
Good. I had issues. I'm going to share sharing time.
Yes.
One of my uncles was a deacon in the church, and he was probably one of the only people of faith they ever respected, because when they're performing in a church, because this is a performance, they have to get up there, they have to speak, they can't be certain ways without coming across wrong for what they're trying to,
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, when he was not wearing his get up, I don't know what the hell it's called, his robes, and you got him talking about certain politics, the anger in him was so fun to watch. And so it's just one of those things where I think that there are people in the faith who understand that they're meant to be guidelines and not meant to be a reference every decision thing here.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are those who can't think for themselves. So I'm glad that your mom was able to come around and see the light, so to speak.
And since we're an author podcast, my uncle is actually also an author. He is Brian D. McLaren. He's pretty well known in the postmodern Christian movement. And the conservatives hate him, which make me love him even more.
Okay, what is because I don't do religion. I grew up I grew up religious, but I don't do it. What is postmodern? That thing you said. Say it again for everyone and myself, and then explain it.
It's the postmodern Christian movement. It is essentially a coming together of the Christians who think the way that we do, where not necessarily me, myself, I have my own beliefs now, but like the Christians who are accepting and loving and recognize that it's a set of guidelines and not to be followed verbatim, like step by step, like baking instructions. You have to have exactly a half a teaspoon of hatred and a third a cup of falsities.
Yeah, don't forget the sprinkling of prejudice.
For all
I like that idea.
Not because real religion.
Yeah, no, it allows you to have a faith, but also acknowledges that you have your own moral compass.
Yes.
Which I think is a lot of people's issues with the people who are constantly referencing the Bible, going, well, the Bible says this, and the Bible says that. And I'm like, they're guidelines, folks. They're guidelines. Yeah. If you don't believe in any other religion, why are you following yours so strictly? So it's just, kind of one of those things. You moved from Maryland to New Hampshire, and this draws many questions in my head, because even though I know they're blue states, they don't seem like they would be that far left of state. You know what I'm saying? Like they're blue, but they're like barely blue. They're almost purple, but they're just blue enough to not be like, they don't, the original 13 colonies don't seem to me like they're flying, like pride flags everywhere. Okay.
So in my teenage years, I was all over the anime forums, and I had made a friend who lived up in New Hampshire, and I went and moved in with them. I did the completely irresponsible thing that no one should ever do: make a friend online and then go meet them by yourself.
I'm hoping the friend is not.
No, I mean, it was a really bad relationship while we dated, but they're still a good person. We just weren't good for each other. I just did the really dangerous thing that every parent tells their kid not to do.
No, and I understand that. No one should ever, if you're listening to this and you meet people online, do never meet them in person by yourself. Take people with you. Never be a group outing in public, in a public place where there's many people around, never one-on-one, and never out of state. No, that was my little side lecture for everyone listening. I think it's funny though, because before, for anyone listening, before we came on the air, we were chatting, and I was talking about how I watch videos, especially about the manosphere and stuff. And I also watch about the woman's sphere. I don't know what the hell it's called, but all the female creators who I think are great. People, I think, tend to, when they get out of a relationship, demonize the ex. And it takes a very healthy mindset to go, yeah, the relationship didn't work, but they're still a good person. Because you acknowledge that sometimes two good people can come together, and even though they're good, you're good, it's still oil and water, and they just don't mix. Yeah. Oil good, water good doesn't mean they're good together, so.
We'd both come out of bad relationships, and we were rebound for each other. Shit happens.
Those can be the fun ones, though. The rebound relationships are what stories are made of.
I know.
Those are the ones you write about, and people go, I've been there. Yes. There's so many questions flying through my head on this, because do you work in the mental health industry? Like, is that where you're So this whole foray then into doing the lectures and the presentations is something that you're doing to help out. I'm assuming you feel strongly about it enough to want to do this. It's not like a side gig.
I like to try and come from the standpoint of, I've lived it.
Yeah.
And I know what it can be like to struggle through it, especially when you don't have a diagnosis or the words to put to what it is you're feeling.
Yes. You also seem to have a good sense of humor about things. Like you smile a lot, you're laughing a lot, and it's a very healthy mindset to have, because your life in general is hard for everyone. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Going through the sandwich you went through, kind of each layer from the B to the L to the T, got a little tougher, and it's not like you're choosing to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's nobody chooses that for themselves. It's you're staying true to who you are, so what advice you have for the people who are like denying that about themselves because they're afraid? How do you get people to be true?
I mean, part of it is everyone has their own journey to make, but for anyone who's staying back because of fear that they won't be accepted, that they won't be seen, there are so many of us out there that will. And while you may initially not have anyone close to you, someone will always find you to be that person, to be the shoulder to lean on, and just the voice to listen to, in the ear to talk to.
Very nice. Now, I always try and check out people's websites and stuff. And on your website, there is actually a coupon code for I don't want to get anything wrong about it. What's the name of it? What is it? And, have you used it? And if so, I'm assuming you have, since there's coupon. Tell me about it.
Sorry, can you say it again? The
coupon code on your website, it looks like it's for like a therapy place. Like, I don't know if it's online therapy or something like that.
Oh, that, yeah. When I made my site, it gave me the option to have like an ad with a coupon at the bottom to kind of bypass having to pay for my site. That's an online therapy group. And since I am very much about mental health and making sure you have access to resources and the ability to build your own coping skills, I thought that was a really good fit for my work.
Okay. So anyone who's listening, if you need someone to talk to, they have a coupon code on his website, and it's for $80 off. If you have if you need someone to talk through things with and stuff, you can check it out there, and I will make sure that we have numbers for people to call and stuff like that as well. Back to your book for a moment, because we're going to continue talking about fun and depressing things. Not saying your book's depressing, just saying that it's actually no. Let's take that away, because it's been a very serious. But your book doesn't only deal with the serious dark side of things; it also deals with the happy moments in life as well. So can you tell me about one of the poems or short stories that was inspired by something happy? You know what I'm saying? Like, what led to that, creation?
So one of my favorite poems that I've written is called Adventure. And it touches on, like, yes, things can be hard, but within those, you can learn and find really new, interesting things. Let me read a little excerpt actually for you.
You have it, yeah.
Yeah. Let us escape from reality into a world of imagination, where all of the trees are these bright, brilliant greens and hues of sapphire alight the skies. Let us go on adventures into far off distant lands. We'll fight off the dragons and defend the flag and become a hero found only in lore. Let us traverse the stars, stepping among the galaxies. A star's just been born, and in that moment I swore I saw hope come crashing out loud.
That is beautiful stuff.
Thank you.
That is beautiful stuff. And that does have a nice ring of hope to it. And, I personally write very sad, tragic shit because that's just who I am. But it's very nice to have someone who reminds the world that it's not all doom and gloom, you know, even when other poems that might be right next to it, you know, juxtaposed
Yeah.
to another one. But that's what poetry is, though. Poetry is a very open, you know, kind of format and writing style and stuff. So it's nice to see that come out. Is between poetry and short stories, which one is your preferred?
I think poetry. I feel like with short stories, I always feel like there's always something a little more to add, or did I leave out a detail, or did I not explain it right? Whereas with the poetry, I'm just literally writing what I'm feeling, but I'm using more descriptive words than just saying like, oh, this depression is hitting me hard. It's finding other words like this, the black void inside me is sucking in my identity and my existence. Like, that's easier to come out than I'm depressed.
I'm depressed. Depression hard. Yeah, it's the world's most boring poem. Depression hard. That's it. That's the poem. Yeah. No, I definitely understand. Poetry allows for a lot more, like you said, expression and colorfulness, you know,
Yes.
and brevity. Don't forget the brevity. And of course, there's the epic poems, you know, the Iliad, the Odyssey, and stuff like that. But like poetry tends to be a lot shorter format, while getting the point of something across in a way that opens up the reader's mind to, you know, points of view that they might not have seen before. So I can definitely appreciate that. And you did say you were working on more.
Yes. I have a nice folder on my computer for all my new poems. I do have a little side project of a little like D&D type adventure book that I'm trying to work on some more. It has been sitting in limbo for like 4 years now.
Okay, wait. You mentioned the magic words of D&D, and I see your shirt, ADHD&D, which I do love. I remember asking. I was having a conversation with a neighbor standing outside their house as they were getting ready to move, and I've never been diagnosed. Growing up, I probably should have been, but my mom was like, "You're just special and you're gifted," and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And yeah, Adderall probably would have helped me be more gifted.
And we're all depressed.
Yeah, but we're standing outside talking with the neighbor, and in the middle of the conversation, we changed subjects just the way I do. And she was like, "Do you have ADHD?" And I was like, "I don't know, probably." So I saw your shirt, and I've been like going, "Haha." You play D&D.
I do.
Which version?
Currently, the campaign I'm getting ready to join in on is doing 5E, or well, 5.5E. I got to play old school vampires a few years back, but the people were kind of giving me weird vibes, so I stepped out.
As much as D&D has become more mainstream, even when it wasn't mainstream, some players you still got some weird vibes out of, because D&D started with, and I'm saying this as someone who's been playing for over 30 years, it started with the nerds. And just because you're a nerd doesn't mean you're a good person. Some of them gave weird vibes.
One of the people had a crush on me. So,
well, okay. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. And I don't understand a lot of things, and most of it is because I don't care. And when I say I don't care, it's actually a good thing. It's not like the one side going, "I don't care." I once heard someone say, and it's a preface to this question, that I don't want my kid to come home from school and be like, "Dad, I'm gay. I want you to meet my boyfriend." They just want my kid to come home from school and be like, "Here's my boyfriend," because it should be as normal as a kid coming home from school and saying, "Here's my girlfriend." So That being said, that's why I don't care, because people are people and I will accept you for who you are. I don't, unless you're fucking kids or killing animals for fun, I don't care what, you know what I'm saying? Like, consent is consent and it's consensual. I don't care. So that being said, how does it work as a trans person? What are you attracted to sex-wise, and what does that make you now? Like, how does that work? Explain that to me, because I don't fucking know shit.
I identify as queer, just to make it easier on everyone. For the most part, I prefer guys. I'm married to another trans guy.
Cool.
I just never leave it, never really go further than that, because I'm like, okay, I'm queer. Yay!
No. And that's actually kind of a very David Bowie thing to do. I don't know if you know what interview I'm talking about.
Mm-mm.
You do know who David Bowie is, right?
Yes.
Okay. I ask these things because nowadays you'll talk to people and they'll look old enough to like know who like Billy Idol is. And I was at Sunfest with a friend watching Billy Idol on stage, and she's like, "Who is this guy?" And I was like, "You need to shut the fuck up right now and look him up." I was like, I actually like said that to her, and I was like, "Dude, you don't disrespect the Idol." But
no,
David Bowie was being interviewed once, and the interviewer was like, "So, do you like men?" And he's like, "Yes." So like, "So you're gay?" And he's like, "No." And like, "I like women." So like, "You're bi?" And he's like, "I just am. Like, I am what I am. I don't put labels on." Basically, it was don't label shit, because who the cares is what it boiled down to. But he was David Bowie, so he said it with British elegance. I am from Chicago. I have no elegance whatsoever. But I completely respect that. You know what I'm saying? Because I think society gives a shit too much about labels.
Yeah.
They're like, they need to have these little fucking labels on everything so they know what they're, you know what I'm saying? Like, who the hell cares? And I think that's a lot of people's biggest thing is they're like, well, I'm a straight man. And all of a sudden they're going to look at someone who's a little androgynous and go, ooh, she's hot. And then they're going to speak and they're going to sound like me. And they're going to be like, oh, never mind. I must hate you, because they're afraid of something within themselves. You know what I'm saying? And so thank you for explaining that to me, though, because I like knowledge. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And I was going somewhere with that before you answered the question, and my ADD brain just fucking lost. Oh, we were talking about D&D. We're talking about D&D. Jesus Christ. What is wrong with me? Too much caffeine. Jesus. Speaking of needing Adderall. So have you ever played 2.0?
I have not. I only got into D&D in the past, like since COVID. I'd always wanted to play before then, but I never had any friends who played.
Okay, so D&D 2.0 stopped being a thing, obviously, when 3.0 came out. But that's going way back before COVID even. Because I started playing when I was 12, and AD&D was just being the end of AD&D and the first of 2.0. So this is like 92, right around there. 1992, not 1892 for anyone listening who's younger than me.
That old.
I am at that age where they're like, "You're old." What do you mean 18? And I'm like, "Fuck off." But so D&D back then used to be a lot more story oriented, and it still is to a point. But once the people who own World of Warcraft took it over from TSR, Wizards of the Coast, I believe it was, it became very combat oriented and so much more complex. They have all these skills, you know, like your oh my God, I play DDO and you have to do these skills and now I can't think of any of them. But like your thieves skills, you know, for example, were originally only for thieves. So only thieves could climb walls and pick pockets and hide in shadows and open locks, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And then they added in the skill sets for everyone, like swimming and horseback riding and bluff and intimidate and all these other fucking things that were always just governed by your attributes: strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma. For anyone who doesn't know what attributes are, because you're not a big D&D fan. And then Kara-Tur came about, and if you've never played Kara-Tur, it was 2.0 Orient. So Asian D&D that use comeliness, how good looking you were, because charisma in D&D kind of combines how well you interact with people and your looks based in charisma, instead of separating the two, because let's all face it, some people are really fucking ugly physically, but have this great charisma. And some of those people are orange. for an example, for anyone who doesn't understand what I was saying, that was your example. But it was more story oriented instead of this combat oriented stuff. And I think anyone if you want to experience good D&D, you have to get away from you have to go to the simplification of it. You know what I'm saying? So find people who play like 2.0. I do hear that 5.0 or 5e or whatever is out now is getting very simple with it again, trying to make it simpler, which is great. Yeah. And if you're an emo kid, play Ravenloft.
That is on my to-do list. I need to find people.
Very gothic oriented, and not just your typical, the land of Barovia is your very typical, like, oh, vampires and capes and blood sucking and castles and black and, all that stuff. But then you have like Lamortia and all these different domains that are still goth, but it's like London goth. You know what I'm saying? And German goth and all these weird kind of like different cultural goth things and stuff like that. You would love it. Sorry. You play D&D, and I'm looking for people who play 2.0 who can share my love of THAC0. And no one
I will play 2.0 with anybody.
THAC0 is the way to go. Waiting for someone who can agree with me that THAC0 is life.
Everything I game, I prefer the story. Like, it needs to have story.
Yes.
Or I don't care about the game.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you play like computer games, I'm assuming, like you're talking about? What do you think is, and we're way off topic from mental health, and I don't care, because this is fun. What is your all-time favorite storyline in a computer or whatever console game? If you off the top of your head, and please don't say Fallout, only because they're all the same story except for Fallout.
I have never played Fallout. It looks boring as shit.
No, it's so much fun.
I've watched my husband play it, and it doesn't look entertaining to me. It's not my jam.
That's okay. If it's not your jam, it's not your jam. But the storyline to 3 and 4 is basically the same. Someone's family member is missing, and they have to go find them. Whereas Fallout New Vegas is, dude gets shot in the head and doesn't die and go hunts down the guy that shot him. Straight revenge, great fucking story. But Bethesda hated it because Obsidian came up with the storyline and like made it was like their most popular of all time and this and that. And Bethesda and Todd Howard's like, fuck Obsidian and we can do better. And no, you can't. You need Obsidian because they made it great. Just own it. Sorry, Fallout, you'll never sponsor us anyways. Have you played Borderlands 2?
I have not. I was going to because I had the game disc and then my Xbox broke.
So many jokes right there about Xboxes.
I know.
Yeah. Get it on PC.
Okay.
If you're a PC gamer, I find it much easier to play on PC. I grew up Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64.
Yeah.
But like when I was in college, we were having GoldenEye tournaments. Like that's when console time in my age, was.
I've swapped to computer gaming for a while, went back to console. I've actually just started getting back into computer gaming because I now have a computer that can handle it. And I'm so happy. I will not, however, go back to World of Warcraft.
No. Try, if you need a fun MMO, and it's not the same MMO as World of Warcraft, check out DDO, Dungeons & Dragons Online Eberron. It's not turn-based like your Baldur's Gate games. It's more live action type stuff, so it's not true D&D, but it's all your class and race based type stuff, and it's really fun. They have a few different servers, and I have like 80 characters between the two servers I'm on. It's ridiculous, but that's a lot of fun. But I think if you really like storytelling in your game, Borderlands 2 is probably one of the best games you'll ever play for story-wise. Okay. Everything about it, from the beginning to Handsome Jack to the end to everything about it, hands down, probably one of the most well-written storylines for a game I've ever played. And their DLC for Tina's Assault on Dungeon Keep is probably the best DLC you'll ever play, because it's Borderlands, which is your shoot 'em up looter game, but with dragons in that DLC. and wizards. And
Okay.
it's so cool.
Dragons
But
always are a bonus.
yeah, it's so much fun. So if you do like that, do that. But
Okay.
back to the point, I did digress because ADD does that to me. You are currently writing your second book of poetry and short stories.
Yes.
Do you have a timeline for when you're hoping to get that out?
Not at the moment. So at the moment, I'm kind of like having to work multiple jobs, doing the jack of all trades, master of none gig. So my free time isn't as available on a regular. And the little free time I get, it is usually when one of my children needs to go to work or go run an errand.
No, I definitely understand that. I don't understand that. I don't have kids. What the hell am I saying? I can empathize with that. I've never actually had to deal with that, but I understand what it's like to not have free time like that. Well, from what I heard here, and I did read a little bit on the Amazon preview, your work is very good. So I hope the world gets to be graced with more of your work. And I hope that you can somehow prioritize to get it out there for us. Do you have at least a working title for the second collection or not yet?
I was toying with just like adding a 2 to Life Undecided, but I also felt like that was kind of basic, and I am not a basic bitch.
But okay, may I make a suggestion based on one of my all-time favorite bands?
Mm-hmm.
Unforgiven by Metallica, in their Unforgiven 2, which of course was the number 2 in the song, it was Are You Unforgiven 2, which is TOO. So you can, you kind of work the other forms of the word two into there and do that. And
I like
that we had this conversation and say you did it all on your own. Yeah.
I will definitely forget. Probably in like 20 minutes, I'll be like, what did we even talk about?
Oh, dude, I am with you. I'll have people be like, "Oh, so I was listening to this episode," and I'm like, I don't remember doing that. Like, it's one of those things you do this day in and day out, and you're like, I meet wonderful people. Don't get me wrong. I have not interviewed anyone who I'm like, oh my God, they're a horrible person. Like everyone I've interviewed has been nice. But it starts to blur together after a moment, Yeah. So trust me, if you don't remember after today, I'm not going to be offended by that. But I hope the world gets to hear more of your stuff and read more of your stuff. But for anyone listening right now and they haven't had a chance to look you up, for anyone listening, it's Shayne, Shane Nicolai, if I'm pronouncing that properly, Nicholai, no accent marks on there. Where can we find you? Socials, we buy your books. Where can we become stalkers of you?
So I have Facebook and Blue Sky that are both under my name, Shayne Nicolai. My Instagram is, I have 2 because of Meta being rude and trying to say I'm a bot. So I have some random queer poet that I will post on when I forget to swap over to Shayne Nicolai on Instagram. And on Threads, because I have lost my Shayne Nicolai account, I'm Bardic Wrath because I like to play bards.
Why? Oh my God! Hold on.
No, let me explain the one that
explain this. This is
Yeah. Well, the one I just finished playing was a wizard bard, and I rolled School of Necromancy. So I used necromancy via music to raise the dead.
Necromancy via music to raise the dead. Are you just playing like lute versions of like Typo Negative songs? And
well, the fun part of that one was while I had my wonderfully high charisma, I had shit for intelligence, so I couldn't string 2 words together other than my spells. Enemy bad.
Oh, that's right, because bards are charisma based. Yes. Oh, dude. Yeah, that is a very very interesting take on. But a necromantic bard.
Hmm.
That's some heavy metal stuff right there. I think
And
that's
then the
pretty
one
cool.
I'm about to play is just a straight bard, which I've never done. Well, no, it's a very gay bard, to be clear.
I thank you for the clarification. You're like, wait, no, not straight. It's very
Very
gay.
not straight.
Very gay.
He was supposed to be straight. He's a Goliath, cloud giant descendant. He's school of creation. He's gonna be the tank, but he's somehow now morphed into like he's gonna be super gay. And my DM allowed, because I am Goliath, to dual wield morning stars that I can then flick my wrist. The stars go in, or the spikes go in. They're hot pink and covered in glitter. And one of my spells I picked was heat metal, so that when I smash people's faces in, it causes a permanent transfer of glitter to their face.
That is some awesomely I don't know if there was some awesomely gay stuff right there, man.
I will be like ballerina, spin around, tink with my mace, and just something creates.
That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
See, bards can be fun.
Bards can be fun. They're just, I think bards get a bad rap. I think they do. You know, everyone wants to be the magic user or the fighter. You know, lots of spells, lots of power, lots of like strength. No one just wants to kick back and sing songs.
Yeah, and if they do, they want to be like sexing up everybody. I'm like, no, I just want to swing my sparkly morning star.
You're using the morning stars almost like nunchucks, where you just kind of swing them under. Do you have to take a damage roll when you swing them under and they hit your shoulder, or have we kind of ignored that?
We haven't gotten that far yet. We're still building up to when can everyone get together for session 0.
Oh, for such okay.
Yep.
So you have this character you haven't had a chance to really get in on. I like
my
that.
character's ready though.
So if I had to ask you for one piece of writing advice, if you feel comfortable, what would that be?
Don't be afraid to just go for it. Write it out. And I mean, one thing I had to learn how to do was write it and then walk away. Don't sit there and try and continue perfecting it right in that moment. Walk away, give it a week, give it a month, come back to it, or hand it to somebody. Say, am I the idiot in thinking this is dumb?
And give it to someone who will reinforce you and enable you, or give it to someone who's going to be honest?
Someone who'll be honest.
Okay. Maybe temperedly honest, not come back and go, yes, you are dumb, but maybe, hey, it needs some work, but you're onto something here.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. There's brutally honest is only good in certain situations, I think. Especially if we're dealing with the topics we were dealing with earlier, you know, the mental health issue. I think at that point, you need some tempered honesty. It has been a pleasure to talk with you, and I want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
For everyone listening, Shane Nikolai, go get his book, poetry, short stories, really cool stuff. Life Undecided, pick it up on Amazon. And looking forward to hopefully hearing some more from you in the future. And for everyone watching, just hold that up. Hold it up again. It froze on my end, and I don't know if it's going to record that way. There we go. Nice green cover. Your kind of avatar, I think is what we'll call that.
Yeah.
On the
Microsoft Paint.
And you don't have the pink hair, though, on the avatar.
I know. I have to figure out how to edit it.
Recall all the books. Get them reprinted. But look them up. And thank you, everyone, for listening and joining with us today. And if you are experiencing any sort of mental health crisis, you need someone to talk to, please don't be afraid to reach out. There are mental health numbers. I'm going to make sure that there's at least one posted below in this for you all to look at, because the world is better with you in it. No one really wants you to leave, despite how you may feel. So thank you so much. And until next time, just remember, even towards yourself, it costs nothing to be kind. So until next time, see you.
Thank you for listening to Drinking with Authors. Join us next time for another fun conversation with an author over drinks.